Hey there, everybody. I appreciate you guys joining our channel tonight. You have tuned in to Less of Me Success Stories. We're so glad to join us this evening. We ask if you guys would share this, like it, subscribe, get this out there. This is a passion project. We really think we can help impact people's journeys and lives and just help them on their road to proper eating and healing. I am your host, Scott King, with my host, Robyn Dobbins. She will be running the chat tonight. And Robyn, go for it.
Hi, Scott and I know what it's like to be helpless and hopeless. Your story is not over. You can rewrite your story at any time. We provide a platform to share stories of people and how they have reclaimed their lives using dietary intervention.
That's right. And as a reminder, neither of us nor our guests are medical professionals. We're not offering medical advice, so please consult your medical team before attempting any interventions. So, with that, our guest tonight is a friend of ours and has had a heck of a journey. Would like to introduce you all to our friend Eddie Fackler. Eddie, how you doing this evening, buddy?
Hey, Scott, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
All right. So I know you from we became friends from the NSNG community, which people that have previously listened to this know that's NSNG, No Sugar, No Grains. We'll talk about Vinny Tortorich a lot, who's the creator of that, and his partner, Anna Bacino, just in case we get back on that. If those names are not familiar to you, you'll know what to reference there. So there's a lot to the Eddie Onion to peel, and I want to try to take this step by step, and we're going to start off with so you obviously had weight issues earlier in your life, throughout your life. So my question to you, prior to being introduced to NSNG, what was your typical way of eating? How heavy did you get to? What did your life look like pre that way?
At my heaviest, I was up to 408 pounds, 408. And I remember when I was like at, I don't know, 275, saying I was going to take, I'll never get to 300, and then, yeah, after living in Japan, I'm like, and how it's so hard to gain weight in Japan. Yeah, and I still did it. My typical way of eating, like, we'll start with the Japan part. The Japan part, I got to like 385 before I came back to the States. Every Sunday night, I would get up at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. to listen to football games live over the internet, because it's a 12-hour delay. So your 1 o'clock game here, over there, was at like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. And I would often, almost every week, order a pizza, wings, 2-liter bottle of Coke. I was doing everything possibly wrong that I could have done. And I was kind of like hiding in my food. So shocker of shockers, I just packed on the weight. My waist got up to 58 inches at its largest. I still have those Levi jeans. I've never seen another pair of Levi 501 jeans that are 58 inches large, and I still have them, and I put them against my smallest ones. And it's quite shocking. And that's one thing I always like to tell people is, like, save your worst clothes. Just one. Something that you can like track yourself against, but don't. I got gutted the house of everything else on the way down. I didn't want to leave any escape routes, kind of like was it Cortez burning his ships behind him, like, I'm not going back to those clothes. So I would do that. And then, but before I left, prior to that, when I got to Japan, I really started doing a lot of bicycle riding, and I was going out I did a couple of centuries on my own. I would ride all the way from Osaka down to Kobe and back in one day.
Now, if I may interrupt, how big were you when you were doing these centuries on the bike? For folks that don't know, it should explain itself, but just in case you don't, century, 100 miles.
Right. So I got down, like, I hit it hard. I was down to like 175. Yeah, I got to the point where, like, I had actually had Japanese girls hitting on me, which didn't happen for the bulk of my time in Japan. And you know, and I would ride my bike to work. It was like 14 miles from my house to my office. I'd ride my bike to work, chain it to a telephone pole, go to the gym, work out, and ride the bike at the gym even more and lift weights and do things, take a shower, and then go to the office, and then work there. And then I'd ride my bike home at night. So I was doing like, 20 to 30 some odd miles a day, 5 days a week. And
Wow.
it became part of my, like, that's what I did, and then, yeah. And then when I came back, right before I came back, a friend of mine, this is a loaded point I'm going to talk about here. I had a friend of mine from New Zealand who worked with me, but she was from Tokyo. We were up there for a meeting, and after one of our meetings, she was just really drunk, and she got in my face and started saying, like, "What are you doing? Like, look at you." She goes, "You used to be so handsome. Now, like, and she hit hard, and it really hurt. But it was exactly what I needed to really push me. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and like. So on the way home, I committed myself that I was going to start eating like no processed food, no takeout. I started eating, I'm very okay with eating not ritualistic, but like routine. Like every morning I would eat 150 grams of salmon.
Wow.
That would microwave. And I tell you what's amazing. Your mind is so, like, at least mine was able to do this. I would start cutting off a slice from a big, salmon slab, cutting off, like, see how much that is. It's 149 grams. I'm like, okay, the next day that's 153. You do that enough. And you see these old guys who work in meat shops and, these artisans who just know stuff. Your brain can pretty quickly lock into the fact that that's 150 grams of salmon. So I have 150 grams of salmon. I had, full fat plain yogurt. I ate blueberries. I ate protein powder. So I wasn't doing everything great. I still wasn't NSNG yet. And in about 4.5 months, I lost 80 pounds. And I remember telling her, I called her up on the phone and said, like, thank you. And she was like, she was sure I was going to scream at her. She was in Tokyo, so I couldn't meet her anyways. But as so so I did see her once before I left Japan, and then I came back, and I was in pretty good shape. But then things came back again, and that was when I actually went up above 385. I went all the way to 408, and that was during that time was when I met my wife, and we were on myself and about 30 men were on a men's retreat up in Wisconsin. And we had to climb this mountain, and all kinds of horrible things happened. And the guys in the group were terrified. It's like, if he falls down and something happens to him out here, we're never going to get him off this mountain.
So let me ask you this. So now you're starting to see the weight issues, factoring in. Did you have any health issues that you were aware of at the time?
Not really. I mean, I think it's very easy for people to convince themselves they're not in as bad a shape as they really are.
Right.
I never went to the doctor because nothing really ever happened. I was okay for everything. It was all pretty much a lie. And when my wife met me, she was convinced that I was pre-diabetic, and I probably was. But then I started, and then it was Christmas 2007. Is that right? I think so, yeah. And no, 2017, sorry. And she downloaded Vinnie Tordorich's book, Fitness Confidential. She downloaded it.
How did she find out about it?
On just some web page, some blog or something. I don't. It just, she's like, hey, listen. She goes, this is a book. She goes, she downloaded it to our Kindle, and she goes, you should read this. She goes, I think you'd really like it. And she knew that I had the focus to get stuff done, but I just needed like a what do you call it, like a fuse to get me going. And so I read the book, and I really he did the bike riding, and I had done bike riding, and he'd ridden crazy long races, like Furnace Creek 508, and stuff like that he did. And the funny thing was, through the whole book, it really got me fired up, but I really didn't grasp that he was talking about NSNG. in the book. It just like went right over my head, you know, and then it wasn't until later that it really made sense. And then from that, I tried a few things, and I had like a meal plan thing for 1 month. I told her, I'm like, I don't want to spend this money. This is ridiculous.
Right.
And so we did it for 1 month, and then but we also tightened up our eating, cleaned it up a lot, you know, started cutting out processed carbs, processed foods. And the weight started coming off. And from that point, and it was like about March, I want to say, it was maybe February, is when I really like focused, got down to it. In the first 6 months on NSNG, I went from 408 to 307. So I lost 100 pounds in 6 months.
That's
I was
incredible.
like, what's
so
that?
your aha moment wasn't a aha instantly. It was like a slow burn.
Right.
You kind of got introduced to it and started seeing things, and then it sounds like you went all in once you started seeing some things.
But then even with that, I think even with that, it's frustrating because you fall back. And that's the thing with like all of our success stories. I mean, almost everybody I talk to, very few people is like, and they take off, and then they get, you know, they capture the flag, you know, or they capture the ring on the merry-go-round, you know. You're working your way through it. And I think, and I spoke with Vinny about it in a previous podcast. I said, you know, everybody talks about like, you know, your body is not built in the gym, it's built in the kitchen. And I said, I actually don't even think that's 100% correct. And he said, why not? And I said, because it's really built in here. Like, you can decide to follow NSNG, but until you can fix your brain to be like ardently focused on getting that done and really committing to it, it doesn't matter what food plan you're going to follow, because it's going to fall apart on you. And,
excellent point.
And that's kind of one of the things that I've been, you know, my wife said to me, she's like, we were talking about, like, I've lost 100 pounds more than 5, possibly more than 6 times in my life. So the problem isn't willpower. The problem is, and I said this to her when we first got married, she's like, why can't you just like not eat the ice cream in the freezer? I'm like, oh, here, you'll like this. There's a really good reason why I can't. I'm addicted. You know, it's like, I'm actually addicted to food, you know? And so I said, like, it's like, I can't, if it's there, I'm going to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, of course, now I live in the worst place possible. I live in Hanover, Pennsylvania, you know, snack town capital. So, I mean, I just never, and that's the other thing, you just never go down those aisles, never make those choices.
Yeah.
It's just like, or you're always making choices by not going and tempting yourself. But, yeah, and then from that point on, I got down to, and I did a lot of fasting in conjunction, you know, intermittent IF, whatever.
There you go.
Fasting. And I did all those things, and then I started walking my dog more. And I remember thinking to myself, like, you know what I've never done? I've never done a sub 30-minute 5K race. And so I actually went through, and so I need to be faster than 10 minutes per mile.
Right.
But that's not true. To go a sub 30-minute 5K, you need a 9:39 pace, because it's not
that
3
0.1
miles, it's 3.11 miles. And so I actually posted a picture on my phone, and had it on there for like 3 years, just like 9:39, 9:39, 9:39. And I remember one day I was getting closer and closer and closer. And I went out without my dog, and I went out and I'm like, I'm going to do it today. And I cheated desperately. I found the flattest place in my town. I did all, you know, and I remember I tried to see my fastest single mile. And I think I got down to like 8:15 or something. I got down to it. And then another day I went to a trail that we have it's like an old trolley trail, runs between all these factories. And I knew that from here to here was just over 3 miles. And the bonus was that as you get to the last quarter mile, it went downhill gradually.
Nice.
And I remember coming down there, and there was a girl out running that day. And I came down, and I was basically puking at the last telephone pole. And I had just gone 29:30. Like I did a
Wow.
sub 30-minute 5K, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm great, don't worry." And then from there, so then my friend John, who lives in Greenville, Texas, he and I have known each other since we were in high school, and so he started encouraging me to try and do longer things, and started doing, and we just started discovering the world of ultra marathons, and there are
That's where my next question was going to go into.
multiple ways you can do them. Well, you can actually do like loops. You can just do like long, straight out races, and where you don't repeat the track ever again. And he encouraged me to buy my first pair of trail shoes. And we were in Wisconsin at the time. He said, you should buy Hoka Speed Goats because these have tons of cushion. They'll really help you because you're still trying to, I'm still trying to get my weight back down. At this point, I was still like 240, 250, something like that, because I had gotten back up. And literally that day, as I drove to my first sales meeting, I'd never even heard of Hoka. I passed a sales rep's car on the side of the road with the word Hoka splayed all over it. And I was like, are you kidding me? And so that day we ordered a pair of shoes. I got them. And then on a subsequent trip in a couple of weeks, I had my first 100,000 step day.
Oh, wow.
Let me say that again. 100,000 steps in one
That's
day.
nuts. That is nuts.
And the stupid thing about it was that that was on Friday at the beach. And on Monday, I had done 70,000 in one day because I was like building myself up, but I didn't give myself enough time to really properly recover. So the 100,000 was brutal. I mean, right. I'm like going around my house. I still have like a mile and a half to go. And I'm just like, Karen's like, like, you come in, just get a shower, go to bed. I'm like, I may never get here ever again. I'm not quitting. And I walked until like 9:30 at night. There was a lot of walking in the 100,000 steps. Right. You got a little special badge, from Garmin, and it says you got 100,000 steps. And then you become, like, ironically, you become the envy of so many people. There's no way you did not get 100,000. Yes, I did. And then the funny thing was, when I later when I went to Arizona to do something, I almost got 100,000 steps on 3 consecutive days. The race was that long. So,
go
ahead.
Let me ask you this, Eddie. So you gotten into ultra marathons. I know you have one in particular that has a pretty awesome, I guess you would say, note to it. You are one of the first or the first person to have lost 200 pounds and also do 200 miles in an ultra marathon, correct?
That was the Arizona race. Yes, correct.
Okay. So to get into that a little bit, I mean, because a normal person doesn't do ultra marathons. I would have to assume it's so much beyond just physical. I would almost even argue, I wonder if it's more of a mental thing than anything, if that's your bigger hurdle than anything. So kind of dig into that a little bit, and then we're going to go into your.
I completely agree, and you're 100% right. It is. People always say, well, why would you do this demented thing of trying to run 200 miles? Like, I don't want to drive 200 miles. It's like, running 200 miles is insane. And so, I was like, well, now in retrospect, I can tell you that the things you learn about yourself, the things that happen to your brain, as far as training yourself and getting sharper, are so worth it. I mean, and I often tell people, it's like, I think the ultra mindset aspect of it lends itself to sharper eating, and being consistent with what you're trying to do, and being diligent and sticking to your food plan. So I mean, like, we did a couple of races. I realized that no one had ever lost 200 pounds and run 200 miles. And, I got down to 189. So I was way past 200 pounds lost. And I really became aware that I started researching and checking. It's like a negative kind of record. It's not something they really track. It's like, oh, no, no one's ever done this. It's not like he's the fastest person ever to run 100 miles. Is not because I'm definitely not me. He's not the fastest person to 100 meters. So just trying to resolve that, whether it was her thing or not, was really difficult. Now I found a girl from Chicago who was on the quest to become the first person to lose 200 and run 200. And she tried it and she failed. And she tried it again and she failed. And then I tried several times. I went to a race in New Jersey for 3 straight days. You run around a 1 mile loop. And I struggled a lot with that because it was my goal. Is like, I don't think I'm quite fit enough yet to do 200 miles in 3 days. And I didn't get it. I got 140 miles. And then 3 months later, I did my first true 100, which is where you go out and back 50 miles each way. And that was really hard. I remember coming up to the end of it, you're like, at the end, you're walking and running, mixing it up. And because you're basically, and people are like, when do you sleep? And like, you don't. Like, you start at 6 a.m. and you go all day and all night until you finish. Like, the person who won that race did 16 hours. It took me 28 hours to do it. You have 30 hours to finish that race. And I got 28. And then the second time I did it, I tried to quit at mile 50. I went to the race director and go, look, I'm done, dude. I am totally done. And he and my wife talked me out of it and spurred me on. And I was like, I want to go home and get a pizza. I've earned it. I don't care about NSNG right now because I'm like sweaty, I'm nasty, disgusting, and I'm just so tired, and my stomach's so messed up, and I want a shower. I want a pizza and a shower. And my wife said, you're not quitting. And my son-in-law I made him promise that if he helped me, he would not let me quit. And he basically ran with me for 40 miles. Now, he's a lot younger than me and he's a lot fitter than me. It was the first time he'd ever done anything like that. So he went more than a marathon. And and it's the point of the running is not to lose weight. The point of the running is, I guess, you're building up your heart. You're strengthening, your body's ability to withstand change and pressure and all kinds of fun things. So I got my second 100 done. And then 3 months later, I went to Arizona and did Across the Years. They have all these weird names for these races. It's not like Bob's Ultra. It's like, across. You start in December and it finishes in January. So you run across the years.
Ah, cool.
And at midnight on New Year's Eve, we had like champagne and things. And we're like, yay! And then we all, with little party hats and sound makers, and then we just all throw them down and we take off again and keep going. But yeah, and for that, so I was like, okay, I have 6 days. In 6 days, I am certain that I can get 200 miles because the 3 days was too short. There are no 4-day races anywhere, so I had to like pony up the money for the 6th day, and then to get to Arizona. My coach actually ended up showing up for that, and he was the first person to run 100 miles with no food. Michael McKnight.
Yes.
He and Benny worked a lot together on getting ready for that too. And so I got in 4 days and 7 hours, I hit my 200-mile mark. And for the last 3 miles of that race, I had my aftershocks on, and I just put on M&Ms till I collapse on perpetual. It just looped. And so I was like maybe just over 3 miles from hitting 200. I'm like, I'm just going to really go after this and just kill it. And this was really stupid because I burned out a lot of lactate in my muscles and everything, and built, just did damage to my body. But each of those miles were faster than any mile previous in the previous 197 miles. Like, so after 197 miles, I cooked it, and like from 198, I did this, and 199, I was like 30 seconds faster than that. And then people were like really getting into it. They're watching me, they're screaming and yelling and supporting me every time I fly past them. And I didn't even, I was like, just like blowing past them and just like going like maybe like that kind of thing. But I didn't talk to anybody. I just went as hard as I could. And when I crossed that line, I was in so much pain. The sad thing was the last 2.5 days, I only got 25 miles because my foot started to really hurt. And found out it wasn't anything broken. It was just that I had stressed my feet so badly. So I did get my 225 miles after losing 200 pounds. And it's pretty close. It works out almost the same amount of weight I lost as how many miles I ran. So I'm
so sorry, buddy. I want to get into this next segment because it's going to take some time.
Right.
And it's going to be hard. Man, I'm already starting to get affected by it. But
oh, come on, suck it up.
Hey, I'm a wuss. I'm allowed to. So you're an ultra marathoner many times over. You're talking ironically about how strengthening your heart. So it goes into this next chapter. You're training. You're getting ready for some more races coming up. You're in the gym, and I think a lot of people that are on here already know the story. Some others don't. So tell us about that day you're in the gym, and just tell us. Just go for it, man. Just tell us what happened. And
January 29th, 2023. It was after lunch. I went there to watch football because we don't have cable TV. My cat's running around here. And so I went there because I knew they would have a ton of TVs at the YMCA, and I would be able to watch the football games. And so the early game I just kind of started, and I was doing some free weights, and I'd done a little bit of cardio before that. Before going to the gym, I went on a 3-mile ruck with a 40-pound sandbag strapped across my shoulders, to like make it even harder for myself. And I was sitting there, and all of a sudden my chest started feeling really weird. Now I've like nearly passed out before, but this felt completely different. And so I'm like, something's not right. And I was doing like kind of an upright row, you're pulling up like this on a machine with like Olympic plates. And I wasn't going for crazy weights. It was they were like small in my mind. They were like 25 pounds on each arm. I'm like, yeah, this is not right. So I got off that. I went over and sat on a bench, sit there, and it's like, okay, try and breathe more. I'm like, I need to make sure the blood's rushing to my head. So it's not, I don't know what's happening, but this is not good. And so I actually looked around the room, and there was like nobody there. And the people that were in the gym, it's a huge gym, all had their Walkman, their headphones in, their earbuds and everything. So no one could really hear me at all. And I'm like, hey, and I finally laid down on the floor, put my legs up on the bench, and tried to dial my phone for my wife. And I wasn't sure how much I could get through in the message beforehand. So I sent her like, Jim, come help. And she's like, what does that even mean? And she said to me later, and I can't even find the message on my phone. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe somehow I sent her whatever. But so finally some guy comes over and says, hey, are you okay? I'm like, no, call 911. So he calls 911. I don't even remember my wife showing up at the gym, but the paramedics showed up. They put me on this goofy little chair. At this time I'm probably like 225 or so. And they took me out, and they take me down this huge flight of steps to get me out to the ambulance. Long stories, they took me to the hospital. It took them 6 hours to get me on an operating table, because what happened to me was so traumatic and so intense. And thank the Lord they did not try and operate on me at the hospital in my hometown, because they would have dropped the ball for sure. What happened was, it's called an aortic dissection. It's basically the aortic valve coming out of your heart basically blows out in some way, shape, or form. So now there's like just blood pouring out inside your body. And I remember, the only thing I really remember is I remember them taking me to the ambulance. I don't remember at the time at the hospital. And then I remember them putting me on the jet helicopter to take me to Hershey, Pennsylvania. to the Penn State Medical Center up in Hershey. And I remember it being crazy cold because it was like, remember, it was February. No, it was January 29th. And like, it's so cold, so cold. Well, especially in my left leg was so cold. The problem was my left leg wasn't getting blood. So somewhere in that first week, they decided that to save my life, they had to take off my leg. So they basically cut it off right above the knee in an effort to save me. I remember they kept coming in, like testing my leg, like, can you feel this? Can you feel this? And I was convinced that they were like, if they think I can't feel it, they're going to take my leg off. I didn't realize it was already gone. And so I'm like playing games. Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, no problem. We're all good. You know, because I refused to like give in. And then, so anyways, they took the leg off. I was in the hospital for like 4.5, 5 months. 5 hospitals I was in. They kept like it kept moving along, getting closer and closer to home. And it was, you know, it was just like so much support from everybody. It was just the crazy part of it. And then so now my insurance company at the time paid for me to get what's it called? Artificial leg. I can't remember the actual word.
Prosthetic?
Prosthetic, thank you. I've only said the word like 3,000 times in the last month, but not just like drawing a blank. So I have that. It's like a crazy expensive leg. It's got like, you know, it's bionic. It's got batteries in it. It's Bluetooth. Like, so it learns as I walk and run with it. But it's still, it's not magical. And it still doesn't, it still hasn't made it super easy for me to run. And at this point, the only thing I do is I can walk with my walker. But that's about it. So I'm not to the point yet where I can like be fully sufficient and get up and out around. So, but I mean, it's funny because like over the course of it, like even like with NSNG, I would say like, even as you learn to do things, and skills come within your purview and your ability. I mean, like, it's very easy to not recognize that you're getting better. So to that same end, you know, like I'm now balancing myself more. And we had a bathroom put on the first floor so I can use the toilet down here instead of having to, I mean, we live on a 3-story house. And the 3rd story I never go to now because it's the attic and just goofy stuff up there. But I am now able to go up to the 2nd floor by myself to get a shower. So that's and then of course the competitive side of me is like, it's like a minute 59. Okay, and next time it's like a minute 52. It's like a minute 47. Yeah, and it's like, so I've got it down to a minute 25 and a few parts of a second. So, but like, you know, it comes out. You just got to keep after it, and that's where like I mentioned it before. Like, I know I'm not working hard enough. And one of the things that people have said, and I still chalk this back up to like even losing weight on NSNG or whatever else. If you have to lose like 100 pounds, you have to treat it like it's your job. I mean, it's like every single day, every choice you make leads to it, adds to it, whatever. You have to be able to, you have to, I mean, you have to work at it. And you can't stop, you know, and I know that I need to work harder. I need to walk more. I need to do more stretching, more weightlifting. And the problem is that being in the hospital for all that time really zapped my brain. Not the lack of oxygen going to it. Although my wife would sometimes tell you that clearly there's no oxygen going to my brain. But she wouldn't say that. She's lovely. But the fact that you have to get after it and you have to chase it, and like, and I know in my mind, like I have the standard that I want to achieve, and it's not about me being able to run 100 miles again, which was one of my goals. Till even after losing my leg, I still believe it's possible. Just it's not as urgent anymore now. But at the same time, it's just being able to, like, you have to do the work all the time to get yourself from here back to here. And, you know, and I've never lost a leg before, so I can't tell you if what I'm doing is enough, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I just got to work harder at it. I make better choices, better options, you know, when people bring in like those tempting treats to work, I have to be more disciplined in not taking them and not giving in. And one thing I said to Vinny before was, I did the work before I needed to. Like, I saved my life. It wasn't that 200-mile race did not save my life, but the mentality, the persistence, and the consistent, like, getting up every day before. I got up every day before 5 o'clock and ran before 5 o'clock for 1,200 straight days. And I was so upset when I did, because it was the day after I did a 5K up in a trail race a little bit north of here. And the next morning I woke up and it was like 5:07. I'm like, I was so upset.
Yeah.
What? You're so close. 5 o'clock was the cutoff. Every day I had to take a picture of my watch to prove that I was up.
So I got a question for you, Eddie. I think that you could answer this. Is it safe to say that, following NSNG for so long, putting in all this work with, your ultra marathon and everything like that, I'm assuming it's probably safe to say that if those two things were not in your life prior to that, we probably wouldn't be here having
We
a
would not.
conversation.
Yeah, because I was I remember when they told me that I'd lost my leg, and I was very angry, but probably not for the reason that many people think, or he's just angry that he's lost his leg. I was angry that all the work, all the attention to detail, and my eating, my fitness, logging my miles, everything, that it didn't save my life. It's like, because my heart still gave out, but it wasn't from cholesterol. It wasn't from any kind of blockage. The doctor's like, dude, you've got like no cholesterol buildup at all. And he's like, and then the reason the doctor from Penn State chose to accept me as a case to operate on was because he heard that I was an ultra runner.
Oh.
And he's like, he said, this guy might be somebody we can help. And I was really angry when I found out they took my leg off, and I was like, it didn't do anything. It didn't help. And, my wife was like, she's like, dummy, like, the only reason you're here alive, the only reason you made it to the operating table in Hershey is because of all the work and all the food decisions you made along the way. And then later my doctor said the same thing. He said, you are alive because of what you did beforehand. And so that's why I was telling people, I think I talked to many about, it's like, save your life by doing the work now while you have a choice. Don't wait until you have to do it. And my other big thing is I was helping, like, I have a friend right now in Indiana who's struggling. She just found out she has fatty liver disease, and she's really upset about that. And I was like, well, here's the good news. You got your wake-up call. I said, are you upset about it? And she goes, I'm really upset about it. And I was like, beautiful. Now go do something about it. Like, because I to so many people, I said, the problem is too many people, it's not urgent enough. They don't have to make the changes and do the work. And the thing is, I could have had, there was a test to find out whether or not you have this, was it not precursor, propensity to blowing out your alt, but they only give that test to people over like 60 and who smoke.
Oh.
And I don't smoke, and so like they never would have given me that test. What they could have done on the front end to fix it or to prevent it from happening, but it's out there. And I think the TV actor John Ritter from Three's Company, he had an aortic dissection but died because his hospital in LA misdiagnosed him. They thought it was a heart attack, and everything they did to save him from the heart attack actually ended up killing him.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
So God was really favorable in putting me in the hands of the right people in Hershey who knew what they were doing, knew how to find it, and knew how to get me fixed up. And then after that, I was on kidney dialysis that's part of the reason why I lost my leg. I was on kidney dialysis because my kidneys were so weak and kicked out, and the blood wasn't flowing down to the kidneys, much less to my leg. And that lasted like what, 5-6 weeks. And we had one negative Nelly. Doctor was like, "Oh, I don't know if you're gonna come off dialysis." Oh, and we're like, and I just had this huge herd of people praying for me, saying like, and then you're gonna come off dialysis. And at the next hospital I went to, they took me off dialysis.
Hmm.
It works better if I unmute. Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Robyn.
I have a question, and then we do have one in the chat, just so you know, Scott. My question is, what kind of food were they feeding you to support your healing while you were in the hospital for 5 months?
It was horrible. It was like all kinds of like Kellogg's breakfast cereals. Everything was skim milk. So like no fat, no, like all kinds of grains. There were like pastas and things. And the other part of the problem was at one point I was desperately in need of putting weight back on. That's kind of got me further subterfuge, messed up my recovery. So the food, I remember looking, and you had to pick what off the cards what you want to get, and you're just like, and then I was like, well, is this real butter? First of all, I don't want margarine. And they're like, yes, this is real butter. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm good with that. So I had like 6 of those, and they're like, oh, you can't have that. I'm like, well, and then sometimes they would tell me certain things I couldn't have because it had too much salt, had too much fat, whatever, and all the food choices were terrible. But like at night, I could have all the ice cream and like sorbet I wanted. It was very frightening. So then one of the admins from the NSNG group actually came in from Pittsburgh to see me and went to her friend has a barbecue place maybe like a mile and a half from the hospital I was at, and she brought in just all this. There was no way I could eat it all. It was fantastic. But yeah, I mean that was like the best food for a while, and then so now it's like we're climbing back on the wagon, and I'm reestablishing my limits, reestablishing my mindset on like I'm not gonna eat that, I'm not gonna eat that, I'm not gonna eat that. And Karen's been really supportive in all that as well, because she also realizes that the less I weigh, the easier it's going to be to regain my ability to walk. But yeah, the food choices were not at all good.
Robyn, did you have a question from the chat?
Yes. So Matt is asking, what's next, and are you gearing up for another race?
Stupidly, I am. So what's next is I need to do a lot more working out and build my ability. The longest I've walked on my own, uninterrupted, in one go at this point has been 500 feet. May 18th, there's a race in northern New Jersey called, another great name, 3 Days at the Fair. 3 Days at the Fair has race distances from 6 days all the way down to 6 hours. And a friend who was encouraged by my surviving paid for my entry fee for the race for just to do 6 hours. I'm like, dude, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to I definitely am not going to be able to run. And it's a 1 mile loop. It's paved. And so it's in that sense, it's friendly to my situation, except for the fact that it's a 1 mile loop. And I have 6 hours to go as far as I can. And it scares me a little bit, but I'm have family and friends there, and I'll have somebody behind me with a wheelchair. So if I get to the point like I'm done, I gotta sit down. I can sit down as and I cleared it with the race director. I'm gonna get a medical what do you call it? A medical exemption. Yes, thank you. So that's the next thing. And beyond that, I'm also need this weekend. I'm going to try and pick up my hand bike, which is a bike that you crank with your hands. And because at this point, we're just trying for anything to help me physically move and get fit. It can't all be just lifting weights. My doctors have given me pretty much a green light as far as doing stuff. And one of my doctors up at Hershey, I said, like, do you foresee any reason down the road why I couldn't do another 100-mile race? And she goes, Actually, I don't. She goes, you build yourself up to it. She goes, don't do it tomorrow. She said, but build yourself up to it. And at some point, we're looking at and want to change the socket on my leg, because my socket has, there's a mechanical knee, a mechanical cap and everything. But from the knee up, it says there's a big fiberglass cup that goes over my thigh. The whole thing is just so stinking heavy and cumbersome. So at some point, we're looking at coming back down to Texas. There's a company over close to where the Cowboys have their stadium. And I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan. It's over close to the stadium, and also where I think is where the Rangers play, I think, as well, if they still are there or not. But they would replace the top part of my leg, but keep the whole bottom half, the expensive part, and just put another one on thing that would grab my leg better, make it easier and more comfortable to walk with. Because part of it is just it comes up so far on my leg that it is really quite uncomfortable. So something along those lines. That's where things are going at this point.
So that would be in Arlington, and when you do come, let us all know so we can go out and get some barbecue again.
Barbecue. Maybe next time
we don't need much of an excuse, but you coming to visit would definitely be a good one. Kurt has a question, and it says, "Is there a type of treadmill that you use? So how are you rehabbing? How are you relearning how to walk with your new leg?"
Basically, I just walk on my foot and my prosthetic leg with the walker, and then every couple of weeks at physical therapy, which we've now finished physical therapy, so now we're kind of it's all my own. They would give me new standards to hit. She's like, "Okay, you have 2 minutes." She goes, "I want to see how far you can walk in 2 minutes." Goes, "Best you can." She goes, "I don't want you falling down, but push yourself." And every time I did it, I got farther. They still weren't amazing numbers. I think the last time I did it, I got like 225 feet in 2 minutes. But then from there, we just kept going around the room and around the room and around the room. And so that was not the treadmill. We actually asked the PT if we could use a treadmill, because my wife was thinking, put it on super slow. Would it be okay? And she's like, because I'm really concerned. You're like, it's fraught with peril. I mean, because if you start to trip or something, because like you can't stop, like that little string that's on there, I would definitely have to have that on. The auto brake or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like so far I've fallen down twice while wearing my leg. One was like right over here in my living room. I was coming in bringing a bottle of water to come to sit back in my chair, and even with my walker, I came walking in, and all of a sudden, I don't know, something happened. I still don't remember exactly what it was. I just like went. I felt like I'm going over backwards, and I fell backwards on my butt and holding the bottle of water, and there was nobody home but me, and so I'm like, how do I get up? And that was before I truly knew how to do it, and then one day I was going to counseling at my church with my helping with what she thought was PTSD. And I was going to my car after the session. I was all by myself in the parking lot, and I again fell over backwards and landed. And I was able to call the church office and get somebody to come over and help me get up. They had like 5 guys come over, pulled me back up. I got back into the car and we took off and I went back home. So thus far, nothing really terrible has happened, but we'll possibly say it's because I'm not pushing myself hard enough. But I think I've kept things within the realms of what I can and can't do.
That reminds. Kurt has a follow-up question,
Okay.
but I was just saying that it reminds me of our friend Vinny's story of when he was learning how to ski and he threw himself down the hill. Perhaps you need to do that same route, but only when people are around to help you get back up.
Well, I was never a good skier to begin with. I was never a good skier to begin with, pre losing my leg, so I'm not sure what would happen with that.
But this does go along with Kurt's follow-up question, and is it the balance or is it the mechanics of the prosthesis that's difficult for you?
I think just trusting the weight bearing on the leg. I'm sorry, I have a pulled muscle in between my shoulders. I have to lean forward at this point. It's really kind of hard to say. I mean, some of it is balance because you're always putting the weight on it, and you have to kick through, quickly with your leg because the leg learns like what is your routine leg strike speed. Like when and there was like, and then it's always funny because like people are helping you, they've never lost a leg. Like, the PTs. And so they're going like, we're trying to help you, but we're not 100% sure what it is. Here comes trouble. Here comes trouble. This is the other one. This is the big one.
So it seems to me that your amputation is actually in maybe a challenging place. It doesn't seem like that's like not normal for most people to have it.
It's what's called an AKA, above knee amputation. BKA, below knee amputation, is much easier, requires a lot less energy to, perambulate on by yourself. So, yeah, I mean, and so in the course of the events when I was in the hospital, there was, at one of the hospitals, which I shall not name, allowed my left leg to get infected, and it got E. coli in it. Then sent me back to Hershey, and then Hershey ended up taking off like another couple of inches off my leg. So part of me thinks that like, well, could it, it never would have been great, but it could have been better. It's hard to actually say, how much better it could have been, but but right now it is what it is. And there's another guy named Nick Laffrey. I can't remember his last name. Probably from Texas, because all those guys are. He's like Army Ranger. He actually has a prosthetic leg, and he's still in the Army. Like he goes out and he does missions. He is insane and hardcore, and and part of me is like, see, like that's still an option. Not that I'm going to go serve in the military, but I mean, like I can still get to the point where I'm mobile and balanced enough to get out there and do stuff. So,
do you know where his do you know where
he's AKA as well? He's above the knee as well. He's his right leg came off. I think it was blown off by like EID or whatever it's
yeah,
IED, whatever those
sure, yeah, sure,
in the Middle East. So
I'm thinking about what you've been through, and clearly you've had, this is a year now, and you were eating what was provided for you, and you've also lost a lot of mobility. So obviously you've gained weight over this time.
I'm not happy about it.
And I know you're not happy about it. So what is your plan moving forward? You talked about your wife understanding that your ability to walk will be much better if you're lighter. So what's your plan moving forward?
One of the things we're trying to get together is, just devise a schedule. I work on Monday through Thursday. I do a 9-hour day at the office. And so like we leave the house at 7, get to work by 8, work from 8 to 5, get home about 6. And by that time, you're kind of tired. And then it's like, I could go to the gym, but you're just wiped out. So one of the things we went through in having iron infusions to help make myself stronger and sharper. Still working through some of those things. So I mean, now I would rather do just almost pushing strict carnivore. Maybe a few berries, and using like full fat yogurt as well. But we have a freezer full of beef, and we gotta get off and get using it, because at some point we're gonna have to go back up to Illinois And we go out there, my aunt always gives us a whole, you know, 3 ice chests, plural, of beef steaks, you know, like ribeyes, tomahawk steaks and whatnot, you know. So I mean that's kind of the goal where I'm going. We have a really good meat market close by here. Some good old Amish farmers, don't you know? But we don't have a really great place like Hard 8 Barbecue, which is my favorite up there.
No, everybody needs a Hard 8 barbecue.
Everybody does need a Hard 8. It's like
Well, I want to go visit your aunt and come back with coolers
I'm
full of
saying.
meat. So,
Yes.
I mean, we all have things that the other people want. We
Yes.
have a couple of other questions. I'm going to start with this one. You can guess who it's from. Are cats always so furry? Yeah.
this one is.
Yeah.
This is a Maine Coon.
unlike
gigantic cats.
unlike Kurt's naked cats.
Yeah, Kurt has a freak cat.
He has several freaky, and
it
they
scares me
they
when I see
all are vicious and want to eat me. So,
Well, this
We
one
don't-
wakes me up every morning. She comes and she lays on my chest, and then
that's
she
cute.
likes to headbutt me a lot, which apparently, from what I've been told, is a sign of affection. But she'll come and wake me up if I'm not awake by 5 o'clock. It's like, Dad, time to get food. And she'll come and stand on me, lick you and lick you and lick you and lick you and lick you until you get up. Our other cat is actually, we call her Lisu, which is Japanese for squirrel. And because when we first got her, she was a rescue from my son-in-law's farm. She was living in, here we go.
Oh, this is cute. A cameo.
Go ahead. She was living in the chicken house with the chickens.
That's
She
funny.
turned the volume.
She muted him.
She muted the line. So yeah, she weighs about 10 pounds. I mean, she's not a full Maine Coon. But I think she's mixed with Siamese as well as Maine Coon, which is why her head isn't as fluffy as it could be. But she's a really good girl. I mean, as my wife said, she's like, when I was in the hospital for all those months, she was just inconsolable. She's like, you know, the day I came home, I got in my chair, bang, she was like on my lap and just like glued to me, you know, for days on end.
Well, I have one more question, and I believe it's going to be the last question because
Okay.
we're almost in an hour. And this is Dan. He's asking, is there such a thing as an amputee support group or a service?
There are many. Yeah, like there's actually the guys, and that's part of the thing is trying to get myself strong enough to go out and go there. And when I got my prosthetic, the guy who came in, the salesman who hooked me up with my leg, said to me early on, he goes, I want you to get out there because there are people that need to meet you. I'm like, why? I mean, like, and he's like, because you're just like never get upset. You never get down. He said, you're like really driven. Your dog is not, now's the time when I'm trying to figure out a bit. He said that basically he's like, there are people who have kind of lost a lot of hope. And he goes like, and they think like, well, this has happened to me, so like, why should I even try anymore? And see, and my aspect is, I really don't ever dwell on that. I do have realization moments where I'm like, this is it forever, man. My leg is never coming back. You know, you realize that's what it's going to be. But at the flip side of it, you know, like I think between my mentality from all the times I've lost all that weight, all those runs and races I've done, also when that and mixed in with my faith in God, those things all together really give me the belief that there's still a lot that I can do. And I just turned 60 last summer. And I joked to my wife, like, I'm living to be 100, so you gotta figure out what you're gonna do. You know, you better find a way to hang around till then as well. So because I'm not going anywhere. And then she did get upset at one point. She was like, she actually like kind of blamed me for almost dying. She's like, yeah, you said you were not going to die on me. And like, I said, did I? I said, I didn't, did I? And she's like, no. And I was like, so don't be talking about stupid stuff that didn't, you know, don't wish for stuff that didn't happen. You know, and I mean, it's been really rough on her too. I mean, because like she never knew that if I was coming back. And the helicopter that took me to Hershey, she was back at our house. She was back at our house waiting, you know, packing up stuff so she could go up there to be at the hospital. So when I got there, the helicopter was obviously going to get there before her. And while she was in the parking lot behind our house, the helicopter that I was in flew right over her head. And she said that really, really messed her up in the head. Like she was like, man, like there he goes. And she had no idea if she'd ever see me again alive. So, I mean, I've said to Vinny, I'm like, thank you for all you've done, you know, help us find, you know, it's, you know, 20, you know, I've lost weight so many different ways. And so much of it, you know, I said, like, I've told several people, if you're going to be obese, now's the time to be it, because you have access to so much information on the internet, so much, you know, there's so much garbage information coming out from the media, but that really hasn't changed. That's still the same as it was in the 60s. But now if you choose to find it and choose to dig and look, you can find it. It's out there. Feel like I'm in the X-Files. The truth is out there, you know.
I just want to follow up that Dan said the guy is absolutely right. The people out there who've lost hope need to hear your story, which is exactly why we invited you on today to join us. We feel the same way. I'm speaking for Scott, which I think is okay. We feel the same way. Your story is a story that needs to be told and shared and inspires hope. And I know that you are still processing, and I'm sure that your wife is still processing everything that's happened because it was so much. But as you do, you just come up with more to share. And you were always inspiring before this event. I know a lot of people followed you because you would put out videos of hope, or you'd send text messages to people randomly and inspire hope in them. And you still have that. That's not gone away. You just get an additional little nugget of information that you get to share now from a very different perspective. And we very much appreciate that. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to turn it back over to Scott.
So Eddie, before we let you go, we ask all of our guests one last question before they get out of here. And that is, anybody in their journey, or anybody, you know, entertained in this way of eating, is there one piece of, like, one nugget of advice that you recommend for people on their journey?
Start now and take it seriously, because there's nothing more valuable than your life and your health. Occasionally I was think back and say, like, you know, there's every possibility, like you said, I shouldn't have been here. You know, the doctors easily could have made the same mistake they made on me as they made on John Ritter. But because I started making those changes years before I had my aortic dissection, you know, we asked the doctors, like, what was, you know, was it cholesterol? He goes, no. He goes, it's just like your valve just blew out. He goes, it happens all the time, but the survival rate's like 4%. Now, this is probably not going to be what happens to you or, you know, somebody else, but you start fixing things and then you start building that. Habits build on themselves. Habits take you farther than you can probably even imagine that you can go. For me, this is the whole thing is, and I was talking to my counselor about this. It's nothing more than a detour, and it's not the end of the road. This is the beginning of something. Like, you know, and when you take detours, you find new things. I've driven all over Texas, and I love driving in Texas. I've literally driven from El Paso all the way to Louisiana. Takes a long time. And you need to be able to explore and learn new things. And I think that's the journey, is like, realize that you don't know everything, realize that your parents didn't know everything. And the more I've learned from Vinny and everyone else with NSNG, the more it reaffirms to me that all of it's actually true, because it fixed everything that it could have fixed. This is still an issue though. And as it is probably for almost everybody. So thank you very much, guys. Very much appreciated.
Thank you so much, buddy, for being on here. You're a huge inspiration and encouragement to everybody. Love having you on. So on behalf of Robyn and Eddie.
I'm gonna interrupt. Eddie, where can people find you?
Oh, thank you. I am on Facebook, but my biggest thing on Instagram is probably where I do most of my fun videos and things like that. It's all one word: ultra fat. The number 2, ultra runner. And so, I mean, in the past, it was always about, I tracked my progress, tracked my history, tracked my eating, tracked my winnings and losings. So now I'm kind of like tracking my epiphanies and things that I'm learning. Maybe not as impressive as they were before, but in some ways, maybe they're better. I don't, it's hard to say. That's probably the best place to get a hold of me. Yes, thank you.
Sounds good. Appreciate you, buddy. And now, I think on behalf of Robyn and Eddie and I, we appreciate you guys for joining in, asking questions. And again, don't forget to share, like, and support this channel. We're just here to encourage and help people on their journey. You guys have a good evening. Bye.